people talk about how culture drives success in any company, and real estate is no exception. If you look at the organization that you've groomed, starting with Jeff Blau on down, I mean, you have had a wonderful track record of developing and retaining people. Tell us a little bit about the culture related and how it's driven the success of the business.
No, I mean, I think, first of all, we're a private company, and you have a lot more flexibility when you're a private company. And when I started the company, I always really wanted to make sure that we stayed as a private company, having seen public companies and also the ability to attract people. I mean, real estate is a personal service business, and you're only as good as the people that you can attract. And I always believe, I want to hire people who are smarter than I am. And also I call them, I want to hire my PhDs that were poor, hungry, and driven, people. And so I think, when you find people that have passion and really want to succeed, and you put them together and you don't try and micromanage them, but that you work together as a team, you can succeed a lot more. And I think that's really been the kind of like the formula that I've used in hiring people and growing a company. And, because if the people are driven, and I mean, no really smart person that's driven wants to be micromanaged.
Right.
But they will work as a team when they see the benefits of doing that. And so, we've been very fortunate in the people that we've had here. We've lost virtually no one to, headhunters, to other companies, because they're all partners. Being a private company, I can reward them with pieces of the deals and participations that public companies can't. And I think that to me was one of the major reasons in really staying as a private company. And I think it's the culture we have here today. I mean, we are, while we know how to lay off risk, we're very, very aggressive at the same time. But also, I think probably the most important thing that I really emphasize is, we want to be the best in class. No matter what it is, we want to be the best in class, in what we do. And, I always say there's only room at the top, and that's, kind of the feelings and the people here. So we're in a people-driven business. So it's all about people, and how do you treat people? How do you treat the people that you work with? How do you treat the people in the cities that you deal with, and the people within, the respect they have within the organization? So, I mean, that's really been, the way I've kind of envisioned building a company, and so far it's worked pretty well.
It's pretty well, I think, is an understatement. So, Steve, how does that team that you've got, how's it working to figure out where to go now, or when I say now, over the next 3 years, given, as you say, great opportunity, but also murkiness about where it is. So how are you formulating thinking?
Well, I mean, I think, today, when things are bad, nobody sees how they're going to get good. When they're good, no one sees how they're going to get bad. So I think you really got to, kind of look through where we are, what the major trends are, what won't change, through cycles or now pandemics, and see, what you really believe makes sense and what you've learned along the way. I mean, I think with this pandemic, with all this talk about how the cities are dead, or people doing all their work, via Zoom or, WebEx calls. I mean, I think you can't build a team and corporations, forgetting real estate. You can't build a culture of a company without being together. And you can't do it, through videos or conference calls. So, I mean, I think the trend is, everybody's, talks about the doom of office today. I don't really believe in that, or the doom of cities. People today, the major trend in the world is that people want to live in cities. Now we have to make those cities resilient, and how that changes, but it's still, they're going to be living in cities. And you can't really create a company and teach and have a culture, via long distance, through videos. So some of these things that are being talked about, I don't agree with. And I think once we get through this pandemic, we'll go a lot more back to business as usual. Now, what's happened though, at the same time, we've had a shift in kind of political life in America today. You look at how great New York was doing, and now you see today how poorly, and what everybody talks about, the doom of New York. That's all politically driven. It's not economic driven. The same about San Francisco. But there are parts of the country that are growing, and you really want to see where that is. And we're getting very active in a city that no one's ever looking at, that I think is going to be a kind of a hidden gem, Detroit. Now, no one in their right mind would ever say, "Hey, why would you go to Detroit?" But I see a lot of opportunity because everybody isn't there, and what Detroit can do, today. South Florida, there's a gold rush, but we still are very busy in California. We have a major project in Silicon Valley that's the largest project out there. But San Francisco, you got to be concerned about. So, there's opportunities everywhere, but there is change occurring also within these cities, and you got to be on top of it, I think, and make sure you don't have too much bet on any one place.